Sweet. So yeah, as you can see, it gives you armor, and it's on top of your HP and your armor that you get from other spells, like brick armor, for example, and stuff like that, or the basic armor you already have. What's really important about this skill is that for every enemy that is around you, you get bonus armor. So what you want to do is like you want to press it when you're in the middle of the enemy team. So for example, for me, if I press it here, you can see in my shields, I still get a couple of shields, which is nice if there's nobody around and you're low HP and you want to disengage. But if I press it in the middle of you guys, I get a lot more armor, and I'm at 1100 HP. So it is a skill that is blocked by shields. So for example, if you have an Orisa in front of you and you press it right out of her shield, then you won't get any additional armor for anyone that is behind the shield outside of your line of sight, basically. It's really, really important because, for example, if you want to jump inside of the enemy team and you press it in front of the Orisa shield or Reinhardt shield or Winston bubble, for example, you don't get any bonus armor. So really important, jump into the shields. That's a big, big tip that many people really underestimate. And then the next skill is Grapple. So you can all press right click somewhere, just press it once and hold it. That looks really cool. No chat, I'm not reading that. I'm just thinking about the things I'm saying. So yeah, you can see that it ledges quite far. Try to roll out as far away as you can, just a bit further away from where you grappled. You can see the maximum distance for the grapple. This is how far you can grapple. Obviously, in the beginning, when you grapple, you can shoot a bit further, but the grapple shortens over time to this length that you have in the end right now. Okay, let's stand still. And there is 3 reasons why you would grapple, basically. So the first one is you want to get speed to go somewhere you want to go. So it's like a movement ability. And for this, I will show you something really quick. Follow me here. Follow where Technomad is standing here, like here.
My bad.
That's fine. Just stay there. And you don't always have to grapple like here, because this is like a really long grapple. You see, it gives me a lot of momentum and it swings me really far. But if you want to grapple short, you can basically just grapple like here and roll forward. And as soon as you're on fire, you can hold that momentum to grapple really fast like this. You see that? That was a really short grapple, barely noticeable, and it puts my grapple immediately on cooldown. The advantage of that grapple is you have it faster again, because if I wanted to do the same speed on this grapple, it gives me the same momentum, but I waste some of my cooldown time. So if you just want to use it for movement, grapple on walls that are close to you, like this, speed up, and then let go immediately. You can try it out. Everyone roll down this path here and grapple short to this wall. You see this wall here? Come to me. You all see this wall? Grapple to this wall on this side and try to make it as short as possible when you grapple and still get momentum, and then let go as fast as possible to reach me.
I'm so sorry for those I hit.
The heel ball gang, exactly. So we can try one more time on the other side. Follow the mama ball, exactly. So you can see that if you grapple short, you still get the same momentum as if you had a long grapple. So for movement purposes, it's absolutely fine if you grapple short. Let's try it again on the other side. Go back. Follow me.
Does it affect how long you're going to be on fire for?
Yes, so for example, if I grapple further away from me, like here, and I roll the whole time, only when I let go, it will, basically, the momentum will fade. So if you just want to get speed real quick, and you don't want to get too far away, it's enough if you do the short grapple. If you want to get like really far away and you want to keep as much momentum as possible, try to grapple or hold the grapple for as long as possible. But usually, from my experience, unless you want to engage to like some really far away point, the short grapples for movement are absolutely fine. And I use it all the time when I leave spawn, for example, and stuff like that. So that's one way. Movement, really important for Hammond. Get around the map fast, because one of the tasks for Wrecking Ball is pushing the payload, then fighting, then going back to the payload, then fighting. Like, always being everywhere is really important, just because you have the mobility to do so. So you don't really waste time if you push the payload, because you can be in the fight in like 2 seconds anyway. So that's one thing. Then obviously, second thing to grapple, if you want to position yourself somewhere. So if you guys move more to this side here, come here to the blue box. Yeah, just stay there. Obviously, a classic is this high ground over here. So if you want to roll out there, you can just grapple high and get there. This is for positioning purposes. And what's really important here is you always want to make sure, or most of the time, that you are positioned on a high ground. For tanks in general, that's really important because obviously it gives you like some overview of what's going on, where enemy teams might be engaging. And also for Wrecking Ball, it's especially important because you can just jump down and pile drive without using your grapple. And pile drive is also the last ability that we'll talk about in a second. And then obviously the third, and one of the most important, I would say, reasons to grapple for ball is to disposition enemies. And I think that's even more important in higher ranks. So I would say, like, I don't know, Diamond Master Plus, where teams are a bit more coordinated. Maybe our coaches, or Trippet, can you go Reinhardt maybe?
Yeah.
And then I will show you one example of that. I will show you some more examples later, but just to give you an idea. Nice. Which spawn are
Where
you
do you
from?
want me?
Perfect. Ideally, you want to go to this high ground here. Follow me here. So usually you would not see a Reinhardt here anymore because Reinhardt is not that strong anymore. But in many ranks, you will still see a Reinhardt on the high ground. So imagine you're on the attacking side and you manage to go behind them. So many instances, there is possibilities to boop enemy tanks off their position. For example, Reinhardts and Orisas are only as good as the shields they provide for their team. So if you disposition them, and such slow moving targets are really easy to kit for your team afterwards. So let's say you guys are my team, like the whole 11 of you, I don't know. And then I will boop the Reinhardt off the high ground like this. There is no way that the Reinhardt can get away with that if the whole team collapses, especially if you call it first. So that's the third reason why you will use your grapple. So first, movement. Second, to get your high ground advantage, positioning, stuff like that. And the third one is to disposition enemies. And dispositioning enemies is really important. I will show you some examples later. You can try out yourself, where that I can actually get you like an easy first point cap when people don't expect it. All right. So the last ability is, apart from the ultimate, is Pile Drive. I'm not sure if you have experience with that one. So what it does is, whenever you're at a certain height, it doesn't mean that you need to be in the air. It's enough that your game registers that you're higher than ground level. I will show you. Come with me. Roll up the stairs. Army of balls. Don't fall down. Yes. All right. So all stay here. And then watch this. So there is a little trick. Okay, someone. So, I mean, we can wait for him.
Techno!
There he goes. So the thing is this, with usually what you want to do is like the classic, you can always like grapple, and when you're in the air, pile drive. That's like the classic trick with pile drive. So when you engage on enemies, you want to grapple through them because it gives another damage, like additional damage, and then you can pile drive on top of them to boop them in the air. So it doesn't necessarily stun them in the sense that it interrupts abilities, but it stuns them in the sense that they can't move and they're stuck in the air for a couple of seconds, where you can quite easily shoot them. So what you want to do is grapple through enemies and then pile drive. What many people don't know about the pile drive, what's really important, is the fact that you don't have to jump in order to pile drive with a grapple. So if you all watch me closely here, there's a little trick like this, which works because as soon as you go over the edge like this, you can try it out yourselves. Try to jump over the edge and then jump back like that. Find an edge and try to jump over the edge and then jump back like that. Just like that. Just try it out. You can go up the stairs.
Oh, I messed up. You have to
You
like,
don't have try it
180,
first
right?
without using the pile drive, and then I will explain you how to do it with the pile drive. So just try to jump forward and then jump backward, and watch the control key on the bottom of your screen, and you can see how it enables pile drive simply because you're in the air.
So it just needs to
guys see that?
detect the high ground, but then you
Exactly.
can
It
go back.
detects that you are at a certain height above the ground, even if you're not necessarily gonna land there.
Yeah.
And pile drive furthers your momentum. I can show you a little trick here if you guys watch me. Get back
Okay.
up. Okay. So wherever you jump, with pile drive, you can prolong that jump for a little bit. So if I jump like this and I can't make it there, I can prolong my jump like that. So same here, I can't make it. I prolong my jump and I can
Oh,
get
I
there.
see it. Very
And
slightly.
using that trick, exactly, it's like a little slide in the air. And using that trick, you can jump over the edge like I did before, like this. and then use my pile drive while turning my camera angle 180 degrees. So I do that, and then pile drive back onto the position. And this trick doesn't seem that necessary at first, but I use it all the time. It's so important because, yeah. So you jump, you turn your camera, and then you jump back up.
I have
Sorry.
a question though. Do you have
was
to
perfect,
turn
by
your
the way.
camera, or can you just hit your back button though? Like,
You can also hit your back button, but it's really unreliable.
oh,
I
okay.
think it works,
Okay.
but it's a bit tricky. I already saw someone doing it. That was pretty good. Try not to use your minefield, because then others will die.
Oh.
Okay, you can try it on any edge, basically. Yeah, that's really good. Sakata was really good.
That is really cool to know.
Don't fat finger your minefields, guys.
Oops. Do we have any healers on the team?
Yeah,
It really,
the
it
health
really.
packs
Like,
respawn really
yeah.
fast.
yeah, I already went and grabbed a mini.
I could also clear the mines really quick. Okay, it's cleared. Just try not to use your minefield. So yeah, as you can, I don't know, has everyone tried it? Does it
I'm
work really hard?
trying. It's hard though.
It's really hard at first, yes.
Oh, I
Well,
did it!
I mean,
That
when
was
you
really good,
get
that was really good, I
180, Amna.
I just did a funny Zodka.
Nice, Roxy, I saw it.
Damn it.
Yeah, so what you guys want to do is roll out over the edge, turn your camera, and then pile drive back to where you were.
Oh,
Nice.
crap. Sorry.
Oh my.
That is
Does
so
anyone
cool
need
how
help with
much it
that
pulls
still?
you back to the edge
Nice, you all do
when
it.
you turn.
Do you have
Did
to
anyone
jump, or
not
can
do
you
it?
just?
You can roll over it, but usually I jump as well. Like I jump up. Try not to jump too far away from the high ground, but But it works anyway. Is there anyone that hasn't managed yet?
I did it one time only.
Okay.
Just
How
kind
did
of
you?
practice.
Yeah, I guess it's something to practice anyway.
Oh, I did it again. Okay.
Nice, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite reliable. So I can show you another trick here. For example, if you all come back to where you were before, like the high ground where you guys are, back up there. Watch me on the bridge. So what I can do, for example, is you can roll out like so, and then roll off, and then pile drive. So not only can you boop them away, for example, that's a really common trick that I use, because in many instances, when let's say I'm on defense, okay, and then Monkey and Diva come from spawn, and they usually jump on this bridge, right? And then they push into this tunnel. So what you can do is you can grapple here, get momentum, push them into the tunnel, pile drive them by like rolling off the edge like this, and then body block the exit. So you deal a lot of damage to them, and you body block the exit so they can't disengage anymore. That's a really important trick with the pile drive. So let's talk about the ultimate. Ultimate's a bit tricky sometimes because it used to be really OP because nobody knew how to deal with it. Now it's a bit harder to pull off. But in general, what it does is it spreads a minefield depending on your height. So if you're really high up, it spreads further. And if you're really close to the ground, it only spreads a little bit. So for example, if I use it here, it spreads like this. And then once it's ready again, I will show you how to spread it further. It shouldn't take too long. So what it does, it spreads the minefield, and they take like 1 or 2 seconds to set up. And once they're activated, they can basically do damage to people. So if I jump higher, they spread further. You see that? The area is much wider. So depending on what you want to do, it's smarter to use it closer or further away. Because if you want to use it closer, like around the payload, for example, it's pretty smart, because if someone gets hit by this mine, for example, they might get booped into another mine and another mine if they're really close. But if you want to cover a wider area, just spread it out a little bit. You can try it for yourself. Find a place where there's not too many people around. Maybe like the red team come with me and the blue team go to their own side so that you don't kill each other. And then just use your minefield and play around with it a little bit.
How much damage does each individual mine do?
I think 80 to 100. I'm not entirely sure.
You usually die.
Nice.
But
Yeah, just make sure the blue team is with the blue team and you don't kill each other necessarily.
Oh my
there's
God.
so many mines.
Yeah, it's 120 per mine. Thank you, chat. So it's like a chunk red spam, basically.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit. So it can one-shot like the tracer quite easily. Okay.
I'm crying on the inside right now.
So as you can see, it takes some time to set up, and once you're all done, okay, let's stop it again. come back to the high ground again.
So cool.
Yeah, that's true. It does wreck a lot of supports. That's what my primary targets are anyway. Alright, get back to your high ground. No more minefields. Okay. So the thing with minefields is this. While they're taking their time to activate, they can easily be killed. Yeah, so they have 50 HP. So if I use my minefield, red team, shoot my mine. Shoot them. So they can be cleared. And for example, if you are Reinhardt or if you have shields, for example, if I use the minefield on some of you, maybe we can get another Reinhardt again in the Zarya, so I can showcase a bit. Then I will show you on the Reinhardt. Oh, he's up real quick. Alright, let's get a Reinhardt. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my minefield right on top of the Reinhardt first. Zarya, let's not do anything right now. And then as soon as you activate my minefield, swing your hammer, okay? Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, watch this. He can clear the mines. He can clear the mines by simply swinging the hammer before the mines activate, before they do damage. So 3, 2, 1, swing your hammer. So yeah, now they activated, but before they activated, they can easily be cleared. So be careful about that. So what you want to do is you want to set up your minefield using your pile drive. So you spread the mines, and then you pile drive on top of the enemy team when they're clumped up. So they're stuck in the air for the duration of the minefield takes to set up. Make sense?
Okay.
So I will show you with the Zarya. Zarya, come here. Or Ryan works too.
Sorry.
That's fine. Okay, so come here. Don't use anything. I will just show you how to do it. So if the Zarya was my enemy, I would just use minefield above, pile drive, and then you see they basically land in the minefield. And it's really, really good for like squishies and Anas, Zens, like those are your primary targets. The problem with Zarya is this, there's plenty of abilities that can deny your minefield. So what's really important is you want to keep an eye out for those abilities. For example, Ana's nade can completely destroy your minefield. She can clear almost all the mines. Maybe we can swap to Ana to showcase that, because that's really important. Stay Zarya and Ana, I would say. Those are the most important things that can deny minefields. So Zarya, come here. So I will use my minefield, and you can walk through the minefield with your shield, just a little bit. All right, use your shield and walk through. You can see it actually charges her up. So you want to wait until the Zarya used her own bubble and also the friendly bubble, because then you can actually deal damage to her and the team. If not, and she uses both bubbles in the minefield, you will only charge her up quite a bit, and your minefield will be useless. So wait until she uses her bubbles and they're on cooldown, and then use it. And then same for Ana. I'm going to use a minefield, and when they're set up, throw a nade in there, okay?
Set up or when they first come out?
Now. See how it clears a bunch of mines
That
at
was a
first?
lot. Yeah.
So that's really hard, and if she hits the middle of the minefield, that's all your mines gone, and there's no value. So if you use it on Ana, for example, and she has no nade, come here, Ana, a bit closer. Just don't die to the mines. Right. I will show you how I would use it on Ana. So if I use it on Ana like this,
Oh, rip Anna.
this is like an insta kill. But if she had the nade ready, she could easily
Throw it
clear them
first.
before they set up, even before they set up, without taking any damage. So wait out until those skills are used, basically. So Zarya bubbles, Ana nade, and then with Reinhardt it's a bit tricky. Sometimes it makes sense to just use your minefield anyway on top of a Reinhardt. He can clear with the shield by like turning sideways and destroying the mines, but that destroys the shield. So sometimes it's just worth destroying the shield and pressuring the Reinhardt. And if he lands a bit awkwardly, he can get killed by it anyway. So yeah, I will show you with Reinhardt. Let's try with Reinhardt. Where you go, Ryan? And then I will let you guys play around with the minefield again. Okay, so I will use my mines on top of you. You hold your shield, and then you will just turn around. Okay.
Oh.
And then walk through the mines with your shield. So you can see that it pressures the shield quite a bit because it's 120 damage per mine, but he can clear them quite easily. So that's really important that you are careful about that. So if the Ryan shield is low and the whole enemy team is clumped up, you can quite easily use them anyway, and it will like basically destroy the whole enemy team. But I wouldn't necessarily wait for the Reinhardt shield to go down. Yeah, so what I see also, another thing, pile drive can get blocked by Ryan shield. I will show you how exactly. Ryan, come here. Hold your shield up. If you jump in front of the shield, nothing happens. And what I see all the time, which is quite funny, every time I jump in like above a Reinhardt and he expects a pile drive, I don't know why, even in top 500, people drop their shields. And it's so bad because it actually doesn't prevent any damage. It just makes sure that I hit everyone with my pile drive. So you can block pile drives with your shields. Orisa shields, Winston bubbles, Reinhardt shields, all of that works. Sometimes even Zarya bubbles, depends on how they use it. So use your
And
shield
the
again.
Shield has to be touching the ground, right?
Yes. If you, I mean, it depends. There is awkward angles, but in general, yes, the idea is that they have to touch ground. Because if I use it here, that was a bit too high. Come a bit forward. Like those things only happen, like. So yeah, as soon as I touch through the shield, he will get pooped up. Okay, use your shield again. I can show you also here shields. My defensive shields, I only get a bunch, and then inside of the Reinhardt shield, after they're used, I get more.
Mm.
So that's really important.
Oh.
Always, when you engage on tanks, always jump into them. Don't be afraid. And then make sure, that the healing also doesn't go through shields. Like Ana healing, for example, shots, nades. So when you engage through Reinhardt shields, always make sure you can get behind. You go out of the shield again, so you get heal and stuff. But when you engage through the shield. I will let you play around with the minefield a bit, just to try to set it up properly. Like with the strategy where you spread it, and then pile of it, just to get the hang of it. So everyone find a position on the map where you don't disturb others, and then grapple somewhere, use your minefield, and then pile drive on top of it. And what also works is you can take some time in the air before you pile drive. You don't have to do it at the highest spot. There's quite a long leeway until you land on the ground again for you to pile drive. Just play around a bit.
Yeah, I was.
So the higher you're in the air, the more you spread out the minefield, and the later you use your pile drive, the more times the mine have to set up. Nice. All right, let's get back to the high ground.
I'm at 33 HP. Hold on.
Yeah, just get a health back. They respawn really fast anyway. Alright, I need one red ball to come here. Perfect. Alright, so there is some interaction between wrecking balls. What you need to keep in mind is this. Generally, you don't want to contest enemy wrecking balls because you can't really kill it. They can just disengage. But the thing you need to do, or that you should do, if the enemy wrecking ball uses his ultimate, you can clear it with as long as you have speed. So by that I mean when you're on fire, when you grapple somewhere. But keep in mind that the minefield slows you down. So the first couple of mines you hit won't deal any damage to you. But after a couple of mines, you will be slowed down enough that you're not longer on fire, and then they will actually do damage to you. So use your minefield. I will show you how that works. Alright, so if I go through it with fire, you see the initial ones didn't deal any damage, but after like 2 or 3 mines, I get slowed down and take some damage. But in general, you can clear them. See, I took no damage the first 3 mines, and I could easily clear them.
Wait. Are you invulnerable anytime you're on fire, or is it specifically when you're running into mines?
You still take damage, but against mines, you're invulnerable.
Oh, wow.
So that's really important about that. Okay, now that we covered basically the movement and the toolkit, I will explain what I think Wrecking Ball's job is, basically. So, I mean, there's a bunch of tanks in the game. There is a huge debate on whether Wrecking Ball is a main tank, off tank, but honestly, it doesn't really matter too much, as long as you know how to play it and who to play it with. So, contrary to most other tanks, let's say the classic shield tanks, Orisa, Reinhardt, Winston, they all have their own roles, and they're really team focused. And the advantage of Wrecking Ball, especially in lower ranks, is that you're really independent from your team because you're so fast you can easily take health packs. So what you want to do as a Wrecking Ball, because you're so fast and you can easily dislocate enemies, is create as much space for your team as possible. So, for example, a Winston jumps on high grounds. For example, this high ground here, puts a bubble down, and basically denies all of this high ground with his gun and also with his shield. Wrecking Ball can't really do that as easily because he doesn't have a shield. And he's also not as good as pushing card or like staying on the point as other tanks. Because, for example, Orisa can easily stay on the point, put a shield down or in a payload, and doesn't take too much damage. As a Wrecking Ball, it's a bit harder. So I personally like to play Wrecking Ball with a bunch of different comps. So right now, what's really viable in ranked, for example, I'm not sure if that works for all ranks, but from my experience in GM, for example, triple DPS, double heal, and Wrecking Ball works because it's basically like a huge deathmatch on the map. The Wrecking Ball jumps in, tries to draw attention, dislocate enemies, and your DPS take different angles and attack the enemy team. That's one approach. A different approach is more of a bunker comp. For example, on Junkertown, what almost always gives me like a 5-minute rest time on all 3 points on Junkertown, which is pretty ridiculous, is a comp that involves like Bastion, Orisa, Hog, Baptiste, like the classic like bunker Bastion comp for Junkertown, where you set up on the card and then just basically camp the card with Bastion, trying to kill everything around. And the role of Wrecking Ball in a setup like that, where you already have people that protect your team, is to create as much space as possible. So, for example, if the Orisa and they're all set up on this point here, and they're about to go around the corner, and they will take a lot of damage, you as a Wrecking Ball would jump up there, pile drive all of them, and draw attention away from your team, so they don't take as much damage from the shield. And they can easily kill everything because they can't focus you. If they ignore you, basically, you can play with them as you want. And if they don't ignore you and they go for your shield, you can. If they don't ignore you and go for you, your team has a lot of pressure abilities. 1 sec, we need to restart. Yes. Okay, let's go to the lobby real quick because we need to restart.
Okay.
But I can still explain the rest. So yeah, setup wise, there is different a bunch. I would say the most important is like classic dive setups. Do you guys all know what dive means exactly, or should I explain it really quick?
I think you should explain it anyway.
Yeah, okay. So the idea of a dive setup is that you play fast heroes that can reach a certain point of the map via like blinks, jumps, or different engagement mechanisms. And for example, back in the days where Hammond wasn't a thing, you would have D.Va and Winston to dive because they're really mobile tanks. And what they do is they would call a dive. You good to go? All right, then I'll go back into the game. You would call a dive on a target, for example, and you would say 3, 2, 1 dive, let's say an Ana. And then both tanks, preferably with a Genji, a Tracer, or any other fast DPS, would jump on the called target and try to kill him as fast as possible. So you don't necessarily camp the payload or try to approach slowly, but you go really fast and try to burst down targets, basically. That's dive setups. Contrary to dive setups, there's like bunker comps and goats and whatnot. And a bunker comp is mostly with Orisa. They play really slow, they play around the objective, they try to win the shield battle. And depending on what comp you play with, there's different playstyles to hamster. So if you play a dive comp, you want to lead the dive. You call the target. So for example, if I'm on attack, we push the card around the corner, and can we get an Ana or a Mercy maybe? Ana and the Widowmaker, I mean. That would be perfect. Preferably a Widowmaker, I think it's easier, because you can grapple up there faster. Nice. Can you set up... Wait. Actually, no, let's set up here, on this high ground here. Nice. So, if I was to attack this point, and usually, as you see where the Widowmaker is, there's a lot of people standing there, usually with maybe a shield or something. So if I was playing with a dive setup where you have a Winston on my side and maybe even a Tracer or a Genji, I would tell my team what my plan is. I would say, okay, we want to dive the box top right when the card is around the corner. So we push the card, and then I tell my team when I dive. So I say 3, 2, 1, dive, and then you dive together with the Winston on the Widowmaker, and you lead the dive. That's when you play dive. If you play with like the classic goats, which is like a bunch of tanks, so like Reinhardt, Zarya, Lucio, Brigitte, Zen, D.Va, that was like a classic goats comp, and instead of the D.Va you play ball, for example, and you already have a shield tank like a Reinhardt, and you already have a Zarya, for example, you can play Wrecking Ball more independently from your team, kind of like a DPS. So you let your tanks do their tanking stuff, whatever they want to do, and then you can try to go for solo picks. So if you see a Widowmaker, for example, and you have a Reinhardt and a Zarya in your team, they really can't contest the Widowmaker. So your job is to reach the targets that are out of reach for most of the immobile tanks. Same if you play with Orisa Hog. You guys have to tell me if I'm talking too fast, because I tend to do that sometimes. Or if you don't understand me, because English is not my native language. But if that's fine, I will just stay like that.
You're
Yeah,
doing
no, good.
great.
I'm trying. Give me a second. I need to take a sip, because my mouth's getting dry from all this chatting. Alright, so and I will show you a classic engage, how I would go about killing a Widowmaker, for example. See, what you want to do on almost all squishies is grappling onto the position of the squishy, and then try to land as close to the squishy as possible. So the closer you land, the more damage you deal. I think they didn't change that, because it used to be different in the past. So try to land really close, and when they get booped into the air, basically shoot in an upwards motion, following wherever they get booped, okay?
So you
it's
mean
similar to the
pile
Doomfist
drive
punch.
onto them, right?
Yeah, so you pile drive onto them after you grapple above them, and when you hit the pile drive, and obviously it takes some practice, but it's quite reliable to go for a lot of headshots. Because it sounds like, oh yeah, just go for headshots, but it's pretty reliable. So when you get used to the habit of trying to aim for the head as soon as you pile drive somebody, you can get so many solo picks. Like Zen's are one-shots, and McCree's a one-shot unless he stuns you, and Ana is a one-shot. Let me see, what else? Hanzo is a one-shot, Widowmaker, Symmetra, like all of those squishy heroes are definitely one-shots, and I can show you how I would go about like hitting this Widow, for example. I would jump on her, and I would track her down like that. So ideally, you want to jump in front of her. That's what I made wrong here. What I did wrong, because if you jump behind her, then obviously it's a bit harder to hit the head. But if you jump in front of it, I can show you again. Also with the Ana, can you... Yeah, you can stand there, it's fine, it should be right. So yeah, I jump on the Ana. Yeah, so, exactly, but that's also a good example, because... So that's one of the reasons why you want to wait out certain cooldowns. So that brings me to the next point. Some heroes are harder to attack or engage on than others. So what I see a lot of Wrecking Balls do wrong is just simply, like without watching or paying attention to cooldowns, jump into the enemy team, pile driving, and then getting away or not getting away with like low HP, not really providing any value for your team. So, for example, if you jump into an enemy team and you get stunned by a brick that is around, that's really bad. If there is enough coordination, and the higher up in the ranks you go, there will be coordination, the harder it gets to disengage from such a position again. Same if you get slapped, anti-naded, McCree flashbang. There is so many things that could shut you down, or like a Sombra hack, for example, but that's a whole different story. So when you engage, you can either do it because you want to basically draw out those cooldowns from the enemy team, in the sense that you jump in, they use their cooldowns on you, you know that you can get away and survive, and then your team can engage knowing they have no cooldowns left. For example, if they use an Ana nade on you, that's a lot of healing missing for their team if she doesn't have it ready in time for the rest of your team to attack. That's one thing. Or you engage in order to kill them, but then you want to make sure they use their cooldowns. So if I jump on an Ana, for example, that doesn't have nade or sleep, that has to be a guaranteed kill. That's a guaranteed kill. Even if you don't get the one shot from the pile drive combo, you can just hunt her down because she won't be able to heal up.
What?
A classic fat finger.
So it sounds like even if you're not playing Hammond and you have a Hammond on your team, it's very beneficial to call out when the enemy Ana has used her grenade or something.
Yes, for sure. And the high up, and this is something that isn't probably appreciated as much in lower ranks, but those things matter a lot in higher ranks. So get into the habit of doing those things, even if people say, "Oh, we don't need to hear that," or "That's annoying." It's really, really important. Like, for example, when I engage and they sleep me and they nade me, and I know we have a Tracer or a Genji, for example, that usually struggles to kill an Ana 1v1 against especially good Anas, I say, okay, Ana no nade, no sleep, let's go, kill the
Yeah.
Ana, for example. So that's a
Makes
huge thing.
sense.
Also, if they say that, then I can go on them and knowing that I have no cooldowns and it's an easy kill there. Yeah, so you can play around cooldowns, it's really important. All right, before we talk about how to play around counters and what the counters are there any questions from you guys?
I have a question about one of the abilities. So I understand that like Hammond does some damage just with knockback, but is it true that that damage only comes into play when he's like on fire, so he has enough speed that he's on fire?
Exactly.
Okay.
If you just roll, you deal no damage.
So like when you're on fire, what are the things that are happening? There's a knockback, there's some damage dealt, there's apparently some invulnerability to mines for a couple seconds. Like what else is involved with that?
That's a good question. So yeah, it's basically all there is. I mean, once you grapple and you're on fire, you can knock back enemies quite far, actually. I will show you some really fun grapples later where you can abuse that. You don't take damage from mines. I think you can also roll through a couple of other things, but in general, it's just to clear mines. The rest still does damage to you. So don't think you're invulnerable when you use it, because then you might be a bit, too risky in your playstyle. But that's pretty much it. So like when you grapple, it gives you speed and it pushes enemies away and it deals a bit of damage. So it's a really quick way to charge your ultimate. For example, if the whole enemy team is stacked around each other and you roll through them, what I like to do is roll through them in order to like actually through them, like through the whole team behind them, because then they have to decide whether they want to face me or they want to face my team who's in front of them. And especially in ranked, and especially in lower ranked, there we go. The coordination might not be there. So for example, in some top 500 games, if I roll through them, they completely ignore me and they still focus my team, which is pretty bad because then my team is missing a main tank and they're playing 5 versus 6 basically. But in lower ranks, it might be the case that some of them try to chase you, some of them might hold the front line, maybe the Reinhardt even turns around to protect his team. I don't know, like stuff like that might happen. So creating chaos is really the key to playing an effective Hammond. The more resources you can draw away from the enemy team, and for example, if 2 people chase you, it's technically not exactly, but it's technically a 4 versus 5 for your team. I mean, obviously they're missing their main tank, so it's not as advantageous as a normal 4v5, but you get the point. Like as many people, like the more people you can draw away, the easier the fight gets for your team. So in some instances where you play Hammond, your DPS will have more space than they would ever have with a shield. But that doesn't mean that Hammond is always better than a shield tank. It depends on the situation. So that's really part of how to play Hammond. I will show you some advanced grapples or the classic grapples for some maps before I talk about like counters and matchups and how to approach in some maps. So come down to the card, guys, and then we can try a bit more of an advanced grapple.
I had a question.
Yep, go on.
So what is your opinion of like Hammond's like grappling around like an objective and then just kind of sitting there and swinging? Like, is
you
that
mean like
effective?
the Beyblading?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Yeah, so I can show you on maps later where that is possible. So in general, keep in mind that your guns actually deal some decent damage. So in some matchups, your guns are stronger than some other tanks, for example. So if you fight a D.Va, for example, if you fight a medium range, you still do a lot of damage, but D.Va doesn't do a lot of damage. And especially the closer you get, and especially for headshots, the Hammond damage is quite high. So a grapple does like 50 damage. Shooting somebody at the same time while you try to swing around and hit them like once every 5 seconds, your guns will deal more damage. But if you see that your whole team can't really contest a point and they're busy fighting, and you need to stall the point, but you know they will focus you down, try to be as evasive as possible by grappling around the pillar and then like swinging around, Beyblading basically, just to stall some time. I wouldn't necessarily use it to deal damage. Like that's not the main point. And it feels like you're doing a lot because you boop them away, but actually you're not really. So that's one thing. And so yeah, if you try to cap the point and you're definitely outnumbering them and you have the advantage, then try to build on this advantage by shooting people down, instead of like yeah, instead of like grappling around the pillar, just Beyblading the whole time. Also, sometimes it's worth Beyblading around the payload if there's like environmental kills possibilities, because you might just push them into the abyss. For example, at the last point of King's Row, I can show you that, but we'll get there when we come to that. First, what distance does I don't know exact distance, but you can try it out for yourself in the training area. It has quite a significant drop off. So what I want to do is I'd never want to try to shoot people on a high distance. It feels like you're doing a lot, but you're really not doing that much damage. So, for example, against Winstons, instead of trying to fight them at a distance, I will roll right into them, even if that means that I take some of the gun damage, because my damage is higher, especially if I aim for the head. So if you take the direct duel with a Winston, for example, if you're close ranged, you will win the duel. For example, against D.Va, it's a bit harder because D.Va does a lot of damage close range, especially since you're quite an easy target to hit. So what you want to do is fight D.Va more in medium range, where you don't have too much damage drop off, but where her damage drops off significantly. And the same for some other targets. For example, what's another classic you want to fight on medium range? For example, McCree or Mei. Those are really important targets you want to fight on medium to long range, because McCree damage drop off is not really high, but the flashbang can definitely provide some issues. And for Mei, if she gets in range to freeze you, that's really hard.
Reaper also probably.
Yeah, also Reaper, really good example as well, because Reaper damage drop off is quite high. So as long as you're in medium range, you can actually quite easily duel a Reaper, but try to keep that range on all times. Yep. Sweet. Alright. I'm a bit distracted by my chat, but I will try to stick to this. Okay, I will show you the grapple now. Come back to the card a bit, so I don't push anyone. So what you want to do is the grapple that I did earlier, is like grappling to this corner here. It doesn't really matter where exactly you grapple. If you grapple higher, you swing higher. If you grapple lower, you swing a bit lower. But somewhere around there, you want to grapple and then swing up to the box where I was standing earlier. Don't use your pile dive, just swing up so you don't kill anyone else. One after another, swing up, try to get up there. Try it over and over again. Get a feeling for the grapple. Even if you don't get it at first, try to get a feeling. You can manipulate the grapple while you're grappling the direction. You can try it out. Try to land up there. If you landed up there, just fall back to the other side so I can watch the other people that haven't tried it yet or haven't managed, so I can tell them how to correct it properly.
Oh, sorry.
All good.
Maybe like blue team first. If you all managed, then the red team, so you don't push each other away. Nice. Blue team seems to get the hang of it. And trust me, like the grapple, getting used to the grapple is the hardest thing at first. Once you get the hang of that, you can apply it to almost all high grounds. Like there is not a single high ground that you can't reach with Wrecking Ball so far. That's my experience. You just need to know how and where to grapple, and once you get used to it, it's like something you do all the time without thinking about it. It's like muscle memory. Let me watch the other ones while you're grappling. Yeah. Okay. So a trick to grapple there, stand still for a second, for those of you that haven't managed. So if you grapple here, you can, if you roll left side first, what do you want to do? You do this, okay? But if you roll straight at it, like close to the corner like this, you get more momentum to the more and more height, you know? If you grapple left side, you swing outwards, and if you grapple close to where the grapple latched, then you get more momentum and as a more high ground, I would say, or more height. So don't try to swing around it like this, which also works, but it's a bit tricky. Try to swing forwards and upwards. And you can also manipulate the direction a little bit by swinging, by using the left key while you grapple. Yeah, this is much better. Perfect. Yes, very good.
Sorry, Rox. Or whoever that was I hit.
And as you guys see, even if you bump against the wall at first, it still pushes your momentum a bit, so you can reach more height as well. Nice. Did everyone manage? More or less?
Yes.
Once at least.
Nice. Okay. I will show you a different trick on other maps, just so we can... I don't know how much time you guys have, but I have time, but up to you. I can show you more grapples.
I'm down.
There's still
like
10
it.
minutes as well, so.
I
Alright.
like the pun.
Alright, maps. I will show you something really cool on Hull. I hope we get into the right map. Please. Yeah, this is something they need to fix, that we can choose the King of the Hill map we
You
want.
can actually. Yeah, there's an option for it now.
Yeah, is it? Wait.
Yeah, I can't remember where it is off the top of my head, but there
'Cause
is
I
an.
haven't found it yet.
It's you select
Again.
between like 1, 2, and 3, so you don't actually know which map you're getting. You're just picking. 1, 2,
Oh,
and 3.
great.
But, yeah, so much better.
I mean, okay. Let me try a couple of times. It's village again. Alright. Back to lobby.
Techno, how do you have a level 4 endorsement? Like, oh my
That's
god.
impressive, actually.
How?
I play a lot of Moira. Bitches love my heels. I give them big
Oh, you're one of the Moiras that actually heal. That's why you're level 4.
Sunk them perfectly. Got it. Finally. Alright. I need an Orisa and a Hog. Yeah, Orisa Hog would be perfect. Maybe one of the Hammonds can swap for now. Tripit, you can go Orisa maybe, and then one of you guys can go Hog. It doesn't matter because I can show you the Hammond grapple regardless. Just come to the point. Try not to fall off. Alright. So I talked about like this positioning. I don't know what the English word is exactly. I will try to use this one. Just basically pushing away enemy tanks. Yeah, Orisa's also walking up. So yeah, so Hog Orisa, stand right there. Yeah, a bit more to set. A bit more to me. Closer, closer. Yeah, perfect. So put your shield Orisa. Yeah, so what usually happens on this map is that Orisa Hog walk up, right? And then you have this classic Orisa Hog battle. But if you're Wrecking Ball, you can either decide, do you play Orisa Hog as well and you try to counter it and try to play better than them? That's one way to deal with that combination on the point, and it's very common. Or you go Wrecking Ball, and I will show you exactly what you can do instead. Follow me, guys. Follow me here.
Oh.
Do you want the Hog and Orisa standpoint?
Yeah, stay there, stay there. So here you see through the window where they are, right? And this side already makes me really happy when I play ranked because I already know what's coming. So you see through the window where they stand. So first you want to check where the enemy team is on the point. And when you see they're positioned there, what you want to do is jump down here. Do you see where I am? Jump down here. And then you ledge onto here.
No.
This side or this side works. And then you can just roll like this. That's it. Usually it's Orisa as well. I don't know how I managed that, but you get the point. Yeah, you get the point. And
Oh, sorry.
that's fine.
Send it. Oh my god.
Bowling!
I live.
This is
Yeah, also
amazing.
that's a little trick. If you get booped off, you can save your life. So if I fall down, for example, like here, all come to the edge. All come to the edge. Don't fall off. Careful. Yeah. So if I fall down like this, I can still like grapple myself up there. I mean, if you're in panic, you might forget or you might not hit it properly. Because if you reach a certain depth, then you might still die because there's like a certain point where you die regardless. But in general, you can get out of there. Even if you get stuck, you can swing a bit. But sometimes it's worth just, giving up and dying because you might not get out of there again. For example, there's an awkward grapple on one side where you can't get out of there again. So yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
You know when we're in this cubby and you said that we latch onto this wall to boot them off?
Yes.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't recommend latching onto the ceiling up here?
It also works.
Okay, but I'm just okay. All right.
It doesn't matter really. Like you see
Doesn't
all those
make
like fancy grapple videos on like YouTube where they show you which area you can grapple onto, but in general it doesn't really matter at all.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, Orisa Hawk, come back to the point. Same position again. So another trick, by the way, with your shift, when you get out of ball form, it stops your momentum automatically.
Oh.
So if you grapple somewhere, let's say you use this grapple where you boop them off and you go to the edge, in order to make sure you don't get booped off the edge yourself or you fall off, you can, before you reach the end of the edge, you can also just press shift and stop immediately. So I will show you what that looks like. Get away from the point real quick. So you grapple, you get full speed, and you shift, and you stand still.
Oh, nice.
That's really important. Or another thing you can do is, if you don't manage to stop yourself in time, you can do that. And then you see, you pile drive back. Lol, there's no way that happens again. Right, that's really, I mean, I'm not sure if that's lucky because you can't get back, but it's or you can get back, I guess.
No
Nice
way.
place. Nice Assassin's Creed wall climbing.
the flying Orisa over here.
What the hell? Yeah, okay. I mean, I created like a grapple video for YouTube. I'm still working on it, and stuff like that has happened all the time and has never happened in ranked, so it's only when you try to show it, I guess. But yeah, so basically, if you fail your grapple and you roll over the edge, you can still pile drive back onto the point. So here, you can do that. See? I would have fallen off, but instead you can pile drive back. So getting used to that momentum is really key. And also, for example, if the Orisa is here, come here, Hog Orisa, come to me. Let's say you want to grapple onto, or you want to pile drive them. You can just simply roll over the edge and then pile drive back, and you can hit them. And this is why it's so important to learn this pile drive trick. Because, for example, if you're on a ledge with Widowmaker, for example, if the Widowmaker stands up here, it's really awkward to get a pile drive on her unless you do like this little trick, you know? Like, how are you gonna get the height with pile drive? Maybe like this, but it's a bit weird, you know?
Yeah.
So instead, you can just do this. See that?
Yeah.
And this is especially important for like bridges, for example. Keep in mind, yeah, for Gibraltar, for example, the first bridge, here you can use it. And yeah, so whoever wants to try out boop people off, you can go for it. Just try to push the hog on the Orisa if you're blue team. You can try to push me off if you're red team. Yeah, you have to let go of the grapple as soon as you get the speed. Let go, and then try to stop yourself before you get before you fall down. Hi there, Satisfa.
Nice.
Finally got you, Trip.
Yeah. So I got a really cool play of the game with that trick where I got 3 people booped off, got my minefield, and then killed 2 more. I can show you after this. So yeah, you definitely get play of the game if you get 3 people. And I played bronze to top 500 a while ago just to try it out. And especially in lower ranks, a lot of people stack up on the point and they don't pay attention to you at all. So it's very, very common that you get like 3 or 4 people booped off, especially at this point. So you can literally just boop them off, go back to the health pack room, fall down again, boop them off, and do it over and over again. And this wins so many team fights.
Sorry.
So yeah. So what I like to do is tell my team, let them set up on the point, and then I will try to boop them off. All right. I will show you another instance where that is really, really important. Let's go back to the lobby. Settings, and then maps. And I will show you one where this actually wins the first point almost always.
I really like that stopping trick because I'm really bad at
We
stopping.
need
Yeah, that was cool.
Orisa hog again. All come to the first point. Hi, Jeezy. It's just my chat. Yep, so come to the first point, and then I need Orisa and Rodok to set up on the high ground here, where I am, jumping around, like here. And especially in the meta right now, Wrecking Ball is really bad in some instances in the current meta, but really, really good in others. And one of the ones where it's really good is try to place your shield like here, you know, facing me. Yeah. Perfect. And then Hawk, go to the Orisa. Yeah. Everyone come here. To me, where I'm swinging around. Nice. Alright. So, in many, many cases, I don't know how it is in all ranks, but I've seen in many ranks, people set up on this side with Orisa Hog, and maybe even a Bastion. So what do you want to do when you come out of spawn and you want to attack? You tell your team that they should wait. You go here. You hide, exactly. You go here, and then many times they will try to hold you or use a hook on you. you wait here for a bit to see if they will actually try to use the Orisa hold. If they don't use it, then you can just go for the boop, and I will show you how that works. You roll up to here. You can grapple on the corner, get momentum, and then you boop them off. And that is really effective. I will show you again. Go back. Guys, go back. Don't boop this Orisa. I need to boop it. Hawk, go to Orisa again. And what's really important here is, if you boop them off like this, you can pile drive, and those are easy kills for your team. Especially if they don't expect it.
Can you show us where you're grappling?
Yes, I will show you in a
Follow
second.
Show us.
That's why I'm sitting up here.
Okay.
If I could see. It's
Get
just
up there
right in the
again,
corner
get
of
up
the
there again.
console.
So there's different ways to do this grapple. I mean, there's usually like a bunch of ways to use every single grapple there is in the game. But the one that I like to do is pretty straightforward. You just grapple anywhere here. You see that?
Yeah, I see.
Anywhere here. And then you roll around. You can see how it stops me automatically. And then you let go when you reach this point. So you walk here, and then you roll into them. And I do that because I don't want to boop them to this way, because then it's really hard for my team to engage, because my team is usually sitting back down here. So if you boop them into this direction, then it's really easy for your team to kill them. And this, I swear to God, it has won me the first point so many times, because there's a whole team up there, and then you boop like 2 or 3 off, and they're completely surprised. They don't know what to do. Orisa doesn't get back in time. She can't shield anyone, and your team can just kill the tanks. And then from there, you can just finish the rest of the team afterwards.
Does
So
your
that's really cool.
does your boop dislodge a bastion?
Nope, unless he's out of turret form.
Got
So if they have a bastion, for example, it's absolutely fine if you just boop the Orisa and the Roadhog, because the bastion is then up there all alone without a shield, and he will either panic and get out of a turret form and walk away and try to position better, and then not deal any damage while you kill the tanks. Or you can just kill the tanks and ignore the bastion. Or if you have a Hanzo, for example, he might just kill the bastion without a shield easily. So regardless that you can't boop him off, you can still win the fight like that.
In
So
a
let's try it
different
out.
scenario, does your pile driver make bastion fly up in the air, or when he's
Nope, also
no,
doesn't.
okay, got it.
Yeah, it's completely immobile.
Got it.
But it still deals damage. So okay, let's try to boop. Okay, let's first try. Everyone try to boop. So make sure there is always somebody standing there, either a ball, a hog, or a Orisa, so they can try to grapples. So first, blue team try to boop off the red team, and then the other way around.
Oh, I didn't let go fast enough.
You got somebody out.
Perfect, that was good. Appreciate it, Simon. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm not talking to the chat too much today, but I'm so focused on this. We will talk later, guys. Yeah, this is really good. Yeah, so you can set them flying quite a bit.
That was impressive because you just booped the Roadhog.
And there is so many grapples like that where you can... For example, Paris is another example where you can win the first point by doing that. Yeah. This is like one of the most important ones, I would say, for sure. Nice, that was a really good one. And then before you land, and you see them land, like when they're in the air, you shouldn't pile drive, but before they land, you can use your pile drive, so you can already like have them stuck in position when they land, so you deal even more damage.
Kind of chain it.
I will show you some clips later if you have time that I collected where I did that, where that worked out for my team. All right, everyone tried? Sweet. Then I guess you guys are ready for some more advanced boops.
Well, red team hasn't tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone tried?
No, the
No,
red
the
team
red
didn't
team
get their
hasn't.
turn yet.
Okay,
There's
red
no
team,
one
let's
to
go.
boop.
And then blue wrecking balls get out of your ball form so you don't get booped as far, so it's a bit more realistic. Nice. And also a little trick for space. Hammond has so much HP, so you're really good at dueling people in space, because they're so slow you can quite easily hit headshots where you deal. So it's absolutely fine if you duel people in space, and especially if you boop them away, it's really hard for them to disengage again. And when they are flying, they can't really fight back. So McCree's, Hanzo's, all of that stuff, really easy to fight in space. Nice. Really good grapples.
I'm actually excited to play this hero now.
Right?
I feel not completely lost anymore.
Ah, yes, Stardust. Yeah, I will show you some videos later or clips where I did that grapple in like actual real life ranked situations. And also a couple of other ones, so I don't have to explain it in the map, but you get the point anyway. Hi, Benji. Alright, you can also grapple like this if you guys come down here. Come down again. I mean, for each grapple, there's like a million ways to use them. You can also grapple up to here and then swing around. Oh wait, that was a bit scuffed. Up to here.
Wait, where did you grab
What?
it? Can you show that again? Up there? Oh.
I fucked it up anyway. No, I don't know how to do it. I failed.
Oh.
I never used this grapple, but I know that other grapples work for this thing as well. Yeah, this one works too. But
Oh.
usually the one that I showed you is the easiest. I mean, also in general
that's
for
going
wrecking,
through a wall. Isn't that
Whoa.
like not?
you can jump over the wall sometimes.
No,
It's
but your
it's
grapple's
like
through-
scuffed.
going
Yeah,
through a
they,
wall.
they face through the wall all the time. That's how you get around, basically.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily use it because for Wrecking Ball, I like to keep grapples really simple. Because there's so many like YouTube videos and stuff that I watched where they showed all the fanciest grapples.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you waste like 5 seconds on a grapple that you might miss. Try to go for the easiest, most straightforward grapple, and it's gonna bring you the most success for sure. Then I will show you one advanced grapple and quickly talk about Sombra, and then if you guys want to stick around, I can show you some of my collected clips. I have like a whole library of clips that show you like specific situations, so I can explain better what I mean without having to switch lobbies all the time.
Okay.
And to boast a bit with like nice ball plays, basically. Oh shit. All right, maps. Let me see. All right, let's try Li Jiang first, because there's a bunch of grapples there, depending on where we land. Alright, garden, that's perfect. So that's a really tricky one. Yeah, sure. Feel free. So yeah, one trick, if you guys come to the pillar in the middle of the map, and then follow me. You guys all here? Nice.
Yeah.
Follow me to this ledge here. So without having to gain speed, you can just simply jump over here. It feels dodgy, but it works.
Oh.
That's fine.
Bye, Rexy.
Yeah, so that's one thing. That's a little trick. And then come back to the position.
Oh my god.
It feels like you're gonna fall, but you're not, so yeah. So I need some Wrecking Ball to set up on this bridge here. Then I will show you some really fancy grapples that just look really cool if you want to get like a sick play of the game. I need come here to this bridge here.
Oh, that bridge.
Follow me. Yeah, this other bridge, yeah. I need one red Wrecking Ball to stand up here. Oops. Yeah. Just stay there. And the rest can come watch. Alright. Rest, come with me. Come here. This angle here. Come on point.
Oh,
So yeah,
shit! Sorry.
let's wait for rest. So once you jumped over this little edge there from the big health bag, like I did, you can grapple onto this. Do you see this? My grapple here?
Sorry. Yeah.
And you can gain momentum to jump over the bridge. Come back a bit. Lacine, come back. So I don't bump into you. Yeah. So you can use that momentum to jump over the bridge and then boop them off. See that?
Ooh.
That's really good, especially at the start of the map. So many times when people cross the bridge, you can get like a bunch of environmental like that on supports, for example. So what you want to do is you want to set up here, watch where the enemy team is going, and then you grapple here, jump, let go, and then boop them off. Come to the bridge, everyone. Come to the bridge. Without trying it at first. If you want to try, it's fine. Yeah, so. And then watch what I do after the boop. So if you get the boop, and you shoot over the target, that's absolutely fine. So if you jump here, okay, wait, I failed it. I need to come back. Yeah, if you're about to fall, you can also use your pile drive to land safely. Yeah, so you can grab here. And if you go too far, you can also jump here to be safe. Instead of, like, you can basically use the momentum to jump this way here. And what you can also do, which is a bit more advanced, is this here. You can grapple onto the bridge, and then jump back onto the bridge, dealing even more damage. Okay, this is a very advanced grapple. It's a bit risky, but it looks really cool. And if you want to try it out, go for it. You can try it now. I will try to stand on the bridge. It's really hard, not gonna lie.
Oh no!
You have to jump when you leave the edge.
Oh, okay.
So you gain momentum when you're burning. You jump, and then you let go. So as soon as you get the momentum, you let go of the grapple. That would have been really good, Cutter and Pit, but you got booped. But you would have gotten it. I saw it. Nice. That was a good try. Try to hold the grapple for as long as possible with, here, like grapple. And then right before you leave the edge, then you let go. Because if you let go too early, you lose the speed and you just land on the bridge without speed and you can't boop anyone.
So you have to jump and let go at the same time.
This was good. Yeah, exactly. You jump and you go. I thought I should get out again. Got booped off. Meh.
Oops.
This is something you can try out for fun later. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. Amna. Really good.
Whoop. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I see.
Nice.
Okay.
That was really good. Holy. Salt cut. That was really sick. Especially with the save afterwards. Nice. Alright.
Just takes a minute.
I will show you one more that is really cool. And then I can show you some clips for the rest of the grapples so we don't have to swap it all the time. Let's go back to the lobby. Yeah, but those are the ones that you can practice if you want. I will show you the coolest one in my opinion. That is the hardest to do, but it looks really cool.
Can we swap someone in? Sorry.
Oh yeah, sure, wait.
Because we have the spot.
Who do we want to swap in?
Disney, I guess?
Alright. Sweet. Alright.
I love this man.
Whoever can do this grapple, I don't know.
Wins a prize?
Yes. Think of like a cool reward, but if anyone managed to do that, I would be so impressed. Alright, everyone come to this first point. Actually, come a bit with me. Yeah, over here. Follow me. So yeah. This is the hardest grapple I've ever done, I think. So what you want to do, get behind me so I can grapple. Get behind me. Get here. Here. I'm jumping. Nice. So, what you want to do is you want to grapple somewhere close to this window, right? You want to swing through this door. See me? Yeah? And then come here. You also will grapple close to the window. And then you guys can set up here.
Oh, you're gonna boop them forward from there? Wow.
No. I will show you a different one. So what you can do is, I'm not sure if I can do it first try, especially with the pressure, but I will try. Yeah.
We're watching.
Okay, couldn't. Okay, let me try again.
Holy cow.
All the
This
way
one.
to there? Oh my
Yes.
god.
And it only works because it's not far enough with your grapple, so you have to prolong the jump of your pile drive or else you hit it. So this is by far the hardest grapple I've ever done, I think.
Oh,
so yeah.
well, I hit a bunch
Sure,
of people.
if you ever manage that, please clip it and send it to me. I would be so impressed. You can try it forever in the private lobby, I don't care. But if you ever do that, I'm so impressed. It's actually a really useful grapple as well.
I think people should go back on the right side and then so it's like a circle.
So we've got a
So what
line.
you do basically is you grapple. At first, you basically hold forward key to go through the door, right? And then you hold left key and forward key at the same time to get some height and also momentum. And then you let go while you're aiming at the bridge. And before you reach the bridge, you press pile drive and forward key as well.
Wow. And you have to do the pile drive.
That was
to
really
get
good.
that last.
Oh my god, that was really good. That was really, really good. Yeah, I have done it once without pile drive, but it's really hard.
Okay.
Yeah, so whoever gets that grapple ever, I don't know, think of a reward and I'll make sure it happens. Yeah, alright. And then one last grapple that is really useful, that is quite easy to do. Everyone come to first point. That is definitely guaranteed if you manage to do that. Okay, I need a red wrecking ball to come up here, or 2 red wrecking balls. Come up here, yeah. And the rest, I need to follow me. Actually, I should make. I will make a Twitter post, and a Reddit post where I show this this grapple, and then I will make a competition, and whoever gets it, I will think of something cool. Yeah. So there's a little trick that you can use. For example, if let's pretend those wrecking balls are Hog and Orisa again, okay? Because it's another classic, or like a Reinhardt Zarya, right? They usually set up there and defend the point. So what you can do is you can go left side into the small health pack room. Follow me. Just so you don't take too much damage. Get in there, heal up a bit, and then what you can do is like you grapple on the lower part of the bridge. Everyone watch that. I will hold the grapple. Chat says, I've done this grapple, but in a private lobby. If there is no video to it, I don't believe it.
Clips or it didn't happen.
Yo, thank you so much for all the bits. That's insane. That's insane, actually. Thank you so much. So yeah, once you grappled here, everyone sees it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You can swing around. I will show you how it looks in motion. And then you can push them off and pile of them. And this is
cool.
the #1 best way to get rid of a whole bunker comp, because your team is usually positioned there, and if you tell them you're going to boop them into the team, they will wait there, and it's going to be guaranteed kills. It's one of the best grapples on this map. I only figured it out recently. Why? But it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. It's a bit tricky. That's really good. So you have to jump. So what you do is you grapple, and then you jump up here. Like before you reach. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
Oh, I lost my momentum.
Oh, someone booped me. I think that was. Oh no, I couldn't have.
I think I'm gonna buy this Hammond
Ooh, I like that.
thingy that everyone wants, and then if someone gets the grapple, I'm gonna send it to that person. I think that's would be cool competition. I like that idea. I think I'm gonna do that.
On that one. I did it great the first time.
It does look super cute.
There we go.
The question is, will my dog eat it?
Most likely, but at least someone is having fun with it then. Yeah. There's also another grapple that is probably the second hardest, but I think I will stick with this one because this one also. No, actually, I will show. Yeah, maybe I use a different one as well, and whoever can do either, will get the plush.
Whoa!
Sorry.
Y'all got the hang of it,
Sorry,
more or less.
I
And
didn't
then
wait long enough.
okay. No, it's not the Chunkathon one. It's on King's Row, first point to jump into the window from spawn. It's insane as well. Okay, everyone set up here. Come with me, like where I'm standing, where I'm swinging right now. Come here. Yeah. So one of the main tasks of Wrecking Ball is to go for Widowmakers and stuff like that, just because you can get to all high grounds basically. So this high ground you saw, you can reach it through here. You can, if you're set up there, you can also grapple here. Like there's so many ways to reach this high ground as one of the only people in your team most cases, because even a diva doesn't always reach it fast enough. So can I get a Widowmaker as well? Someone,
I can't even remember which spawn I started at.
Doesn't matter. Just try out both. Eventually we'll find the right one.
I got it.
Wait, what just happened? So many bits, holy. Alright, nice. So here it's really awkward to try to get a pile drive like this. Yeah, you can do that and then like fly up again and then pile drive. But this is exactly why I try to use my pile drive from this like little jump that I showed you, right? So for example, if you jump up here and you wait here and then the Widow grapples up there, after the Widow used the grapple, she's a one-shot. So you can wait, she grapples, and then you know she has no disengagement mechanism, so you can just do this. And then shoot her like that. And this is, yeah, this trick here is like worth it. But yeah, this is why you need this this grapple jump.
So you're saying wait until the Widow grapples up there and then use all of that on?
Exactly. Sometimes the Widow trolls me. So sometimes the Widowmaker jumps down and tries to bait my pile drive like this. And then when I pile drive, she grapples up. See that? Perfect. And when I pile drive, she grapples up. So make sure you know the cooldown on the Widowmaker grapple. For example, okay, jump down and then jump back up again. So she grapples. I fail my pile drive, right? And then I have to get back up, and then I can only shoot her. I don't have a pile drive ready. So sometimes I would just jump down and fake my pile drive. I mean, that's a bit advanced, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, see? And then she wastes the grapple. I jump up, and then I pile drive. And then from there, it's easy kill. That's a little trick. And then one quick tip for Sombra. Always try to shoot a Sombra. Sombra is a good counter to Wrecking Ball. But if you play Dive, for example, and your whole team approaches fast, Sombra is pretty useless. Sombra is only good if your team is slow and uncoordinated. If you approach at the same time, the Sombra can't really hack more than one person at the same time. Hack can get interrupted quite easily by damage. And if she can't hack because she's constantly taking damage or pressure, then she can only shoot, and the damage from Sombra's gun is pretty high, but not as high as other DPS, and it's not really worth it. So yeah, always try to shoot a Sombra. Yeah, that's really good. So if she tries to hack me and I shoot her, it interrupts the hack. That's one thing. Sombras in general, if she hacked somebody else, you can go in for engage. Okay, Sombra, come on here. Nice. So what you never want to do against a Sombra is jump really high. If you jump really high, she has plenty of time to hack you. See that? Compared to if you
I love when Wrecking Ball jumps high.
if you do this, and then see that? I jumped lower, and while I was jumping, I shot her, so she can't use the hack. And then before I landed, I used my pile drive, so she will never be able to get a full hack off. Or you can like fake engage, where you try to hack me. You do this. She hacks me. I fall back to my team. I will survive, and then I know she has hack cooldown, and I can just engage again. Those are the tricks for Sombra. So it doesn't necessarily counter hamster, but it's definitely very, very annoying. But then again, Sombra is a really good counter, so to say, for almost all main tanks anyway, because if you're Reinhardt and you get hacked, you're useless. If you're Orisa, you get hacked, you're useless. Yeah.
Yep.
Just a short insight on how to play against Sombra. It does work. It's not a throw if you play Hammond against Sombra, but it's definitely hard, and it's not really enjoyable, I have to say. So don't one trick like me, learn other heroes.
Yeah, lots of people hate playing against Sombra, which is part of why I love playing
I hate
Sombra.
Sombra in general. But yeah, the problem with Sombra is this in lower ranks where people are a bit uncoordinated and you know,
She gets
if you
away with murder.
yeah, exactly. That is one thing, but at the same time, it's not as effective as in higher rank. For example, if EMP in lower ranks, first of all, people are not really grouped up as 6 all the times because there's people staggering, people not joining the team fight. It's just a bit uncoordinated, you know? They come from spawn, they walk to the fight without waiting for the team. So if you EMP, you don't really get the whole team. That's one thing. So it's not as effective. And also, even if you get a lot of people EMP'd with Sombra, usually the follow-up is not as coordinated.
Yep.
If you say like, oh, EMP, people are like, oh, who will we attack? Where did we attack? But in GM, for example, if there's an EMP, you can be sure it's a teamfight win in 99% of the cases. So yeah, that's why it's a bit hard to balance Sombra. It's just my Jason basically. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Is there any question left? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to try?
Before we
All happy?
quit, can I just get a group photo of all of us?
Do it.
like all of the students down here, like around the edge, and then you like swinging from the pillar up there. Stardust,
Sure.
if you could get a picture of that.
Let me change.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Real quick before we do it, counters to Hammond. I think the best counter, so to say, is probably Sombra. And then there's a couple of heroes that can contest Wrecking Ball really well. For example, a Mei can slow down a Wrecking Ball's speed so he can't really disengage. So against Mei, what you want to do is stay on distance, shoot her as much as possible until she used her the prison thingy or like the ice block. And once the ice block is used, you can engage on her like any other squishy and shoot her down quite easily. So hold your range and then try to force the prison, and then you go in after that. That's Mei. In general, I don't think you want to counter pick Wrecking Ball. The best way to counter Wrecking Ball is to stay together, and once he engages, you all attack him at the same time, or you all ignore him. If you split up your focus, that's exactly what Wrecking Ball wants. Logistics kind of question. If you find left control difficult, use pile drive. I don't know, I've never really switched from the standard controls, I have to say. Any good
I
healers?
switched it to one of my mouse buttons because I've got extra.
So my chat asked, what about McCree and his stun? So it's the same with like Ana Sleep, which also answers your questions, which healers are good against Wrecking Ball. As I said, you don't necessarily want to counter Wrecking Ball with hero picks, because for example, if you play Zombra and Mei, it may counter the Hammond, for example. But what if your team that plays Hammond also plays Fair Mercy? What are you going to do then? Then you're pretty useless to the rest of the enemy team. A team always consists of 6 people. As stupid as that sounds, it makes a difference. If you all try to counterpick one hero, then the rest of the enemy team might be able to counterpick your team in return.
It's like going triple hit scan against a Pharah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty good example. So what works against Hammond healer-wise, Brick is pretty good because it can stop the momentum when you try to roll through her. She can stun you. That's one thing. Ana is pretty good if you hit the sleep, which is pretty reliable because Wrecking Ball is just a fat ball and easy to hit, basically. What else? When it comes to McCree and his stun, same with Ana Nate. You can either jump in to, counter the McCree or like force out the cooldown. But since the McCree flashbang is with such a short cooldown, it's not really worth like trying to force it out. But if you see him use it on somebody else, you can just engage and kill him quite easily when he's used it. Like there's nothing he can do about it because he can't roll in the air. And that's how you approach most heroes. You either want to force out the cooldowns when you engage on them, or you want to wait until they use it and then you just engage on them. Yes, I showed them how to pile drive on flat ground. Yeah. One area to focus on primarily. I think the most important thing for Hammond is definitely movement. And then when it comes to ability timing, I can also tell you one thing. So now I reduced the cooldowns for grapples and pile drive. But in general, pile drive is quite a long cooldown. It's like 8 or 9 seconds, I'm not entirely sure. But it's definitely quite some time. So it might be worth it using it on like a diva, for example, just for extra damage. But in most cases, it's worth saving it and not always using it when in the air. Like you want to use it as often as possible with as much value as possible. So if you can use it, for example, if you see a diva alone, yes, you can use it, but a diva doesn't care too much about 120, 150 damage. Whereas if you save it and you attack like 2 other people instead, the next time when they're clumped up and you have saved it from that one engage in a diva where you just shot with your guns, then you can get much more value and also much more ult charge. And using your pile drives and your grapples effectively for damage is the way you can fast charge your ultimates. You can get like a lot of ultimate charge really, really fast. Like I usually charge an ultimate between 40 and 60 seconds, which is really, really fast. Depends on enemy comp, of course, and how they play it, but I've seen Hammonds that take like 3 minutes for an ult charge and for one ult, and that's way too slow. So yeah, if you optimize your movement, that really helps with your ultimate as well. And the rest really comes with like practice. I guess Hammond is one of those heroes that need a lot of movement practice and mechanical skill, in addition to like game sense, and that's why I like it so much, because there's so many things you can do with it. Yes, Hammond has a melee. I mean, is it not bound? It's bound. Yeah, it has a melee. Yeah, that's another trick. So if you pile drive somebody and then you shoot their head and then they barely survive, I just usually finish them off with a quick melee. So get used to using your melees after a pile drive engage. That's really, really important, because melee does like what, 60 damage, 40 damage? I don't know. I don't know what exact numbers actually. It's pretty sad. But usually when you jump on a Widow, for example, quickly use the melee before she gets away with like low HP. And yeah, 30 damage, and then that should guarantee the kill. All right. Any other questions? If not, then I will invite you all to just come to my stream, and then I will show you the clips that I collected for different scenarios and grapples and stuff. And picture time, of course. Yes. All right, picture time. Where do you guys want to set up? On the bridge?
That'd be cool.
And I have some really, really cool highlights. just to get you guys excited. But yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so what we can do is you guys can set up on the bridge, and I will try to swing like here, just like that. And then if you screenshot at the right time while I'm above you guys, that would be cool. Yeah, so whoever wants to take the picture, feel free. So who wants to do?
Stardust is spectating. She should be able to get a good shot.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna swing here. And oh wait. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, try not to be in my range. Right.
For a very important date.
You have a really, really cool chat.
Yes,
I have a really, really cool chat. That's true. If you want to join my stream, I have a really, really nice community there as well. And maybe also chat if the girls from my chat, if you guys want their Discord server and their clan or community as well. It's an all girls clan that focuses on like friendly environments, you know, positive atmosphere, and helping out each other, playing together, and just having a good time.
Okay.
All right. So who wants to take the pictures? Anyone taking the picture?
I think Stardust got it. Yeah.
Stardust,
we're
you got
good.
it? Okay, can we all hit our ult at the same time?
Yes. Please.
Okay, I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, ult. Okay, so everyone hit Q when I say ult.
And then I will
Okay,
pile on
ready?
you guys.
Okay, 3,
I'm gonna ruin
2,
it.
1, ult.
Oh my god!
Holy, that's insane. Oh my god, that made me so happy.
I'm alive
Instead
with
of saying
37
cheese,
health.
it's like
That
everyone's
was
a pile
so
drive.
sick.
Pile
Yeah, my chat is really friendly.
Best
Alright, the
DBU
chaos
ever.
starts.
That was great.
Alright, so I will post my Twitch link in chat real quick. It's gonna be this
Oh,
here.
You died
Some
when you tried
promotion
to
for my
pile
stream
drive
as
me
well.
'cause there was a mine. Okay.
It's Twitch /Ventari _.
Yeah, I'll post it
Um,
in events chat real quick.
Okay.
Perfect.
I
Alright, so
usually
I'll
stream-
switch over. Yeah, I'll switch over to your stream now, Ventari.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense if you all switch over to the stream because then I can show you the clips properly. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. I think it's really cool what you guys do. Keep it up, and I'm gonna send the girls from my chat to you guys whenever they
Awesome.
want to play with somebody. And yeah,
Cool.
We
Ventari,
organize stuff.
thank you so much.
cool.
You were super awesome. We really
Sure.
appreciate your
no
help.
worries, no worries.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I hope it was somewhat educational.